Wij gaan even na bij Oria wat hier nu aan de hand is en wat we moeten doen. Aftermath.
Hey.
Hey.
How do you feel?
Okay now. But it was touch and go for a while. Lane will probably never forgive me. For that matter, I might not either.
I knew that fight. The spindle, giving her life like that.
Ze is dood, Ayla.
It'd be on your mind all night.
Ik dacht ze is gewoon moe, uitgeput.
I've been mulling over what to tell you this morning. I had a speech planned, but you don't need a speech. You're like me. It'd ring false. So I'm going to tell you what I'd need to hear after something like that. You did good. It was an awful
You did good.
situation,
Nou, dankjewel.
but you stood up and did what needed to be done without hesitating. Not many people have that kind of grit.
You're right. I think that was what I needed to hear. Thanks, Oria.
You deserve it. You've come so far in here. We've all had to adapt. But you more than anyone. Look.
Ja, wij komen in een vreemde wereld aan hier
You're made
ineens.
of stern stuff. You've the mountains in your bones. Any sense of doubt or being shaken is just snowfall. Temporary, and it'll slide off soon.
That was the part you practiced, right?
Yes. But that doesn't make it less true.
Okay. Okay. Thoughts on what we do next? We obviously need to deal with that beast. But where to start?
We need to get everyone together. Our band, Arakim too. And I want you to call the meeting.
Me?
Yes. You.
To call the meeting. Gather the band around the scry. Nou, hier is de scry. Interact. Komen jullie maar, jongens. Even napraten.
I know everyone's up in their heads right now, but we have real problems to solve. So let's clear the air.
Are you running this discussion, then?
She is.
Sev, this has to start with you. We knew you were working with the Eye. We told you we'd have your back. Help us understand what happened. Just breathe, Sev. Start from the beginning.
Precies, begin vanaf het begin.
I'm sure Bryn and Solar told you all. But I belong to an order called the Norians. We're sometimes called the Watersmiths. Imagine my surprise to learn our talents had been critical to the construction of the tapestry. Our order binds us to always help another Norian. Especially a high-ranking one like Stanild. And to keep their secrets.
So that's how he sunk his claws into you.
Ja.
Why is the Order so secretive?
We've always been critical to the survival of Taza. Water is life in the desert, and we control the flow of water. The Elders have a secret political chokehold on the kingdoms. The altruistic Norians will tell you the secrecy is so no one can undo our work. But I have my doubts. And so, the Order operates in the shadows. I imagine they were much the same here in the Enclave.
What did Stanild have you doing?
Goeie vraag.
It was all work on repairing the Grand Gate. He'd heard about our success with the gate in the Hollow and felt I might be able to replicate it. Thanks to your help, I was able to do so. And he took me more into his confidence as a result.
Did you leave the Norians to become Solar's apprentice?
One never really leaves the Norians. Not with their life. If word got out about me betraying Stanild, I'd be a dead ram walking. But no. My people have a ritual known as Ram Bralem.
Roll
It
it.
is a time to pursue another path. And Sola was kind enough to accept me for mine.
It's true. I knew it could be temporary, but was hoping you'd stay on after.
The most important thing is whether we can trust you.
Yes, Sev. Convince us.
I swear, nothing I did was intended to cause harm. Too many of my order are political animals. But there is real good to be found among the Norians. Craftspeople who just wish to perfect their art. To bring water to people in need. To experiment, but need the resources to do so. Unfortunately, too many of those resources are controlled by people like Stanild. They're all the same. They see a point of control, water, information, wealth, and they abuse it. I thought the secrets were a necessary evil for some great purpose, but seeing his chokehold on the Enclave, it's stagnation. You all have every right to distrust me. I am sorry. No more secrets. I just can't do it anymore.
If you can't be a Norian, then what are you?
If you'd have me, I'd like to stay.
Those of us who have been here longer than Sev. Thoughts?
He's a great apprentice, and did what was right in the end.
Still wasn't quick enough.
We need him. He's been exposed to Kenric Stanald's plans, and that knowledge may be critical.
When I was going through it, you all pulled together to help me.
You are all heard. And I would add that you joined us under false pretenses, Sev. You had loyalties outside the band you never disclosed.
I have a hard time accepting that he kept so much from us, but shared so much with the Eye. Who knows what Stanild, or gods help us, the Talon heard about us. Only time will tell how much damage that's done.
Lane, I hear you and I understand. Sev has real work to do to rebuild trust. Only you can decide when the apology feels real to you. Sev, that considered, you have worked tirelessly since joining us, and demonstrated an enterprising spirit and deftness as a smith. And before the blade could completely fall, you risked all by blocking it with your own hand. You can never be a Norian again. I do not sense that you wish to be. And who are the Weavers but a group of outcasts and misfits, just trying to muddle through together? You will stay, and you will help. We have work to do. Tell us about Stanild's plan.
Thank you, Horia.
I won't dance around it. The situation we face is not good. The Surgeborn are more strategic than we could have imagined. Now, we have no idea what they're planning, but we do know that they can plan. That's our edge. But here's our challenge. That Talon. It spoke. It knew things it couldn't know about us. We're on the back foot and need to catch up fast.
Yeah.
Then let me, as Horia said, help. After I repaired the gate, Stanild took me completely into his confidence. He'd been questioning and learning from the Talon. Or so he thought.
Not realizing he was being manipulated.
He was increasingly estranged from his daughter. I'd wager he was desperate for a friend.
I'd agree. Based on what he'd learned from the Surgeborn from his friend, he put together a plan.
Use my people as a distraction to pull the bulk of the Surgeborn out of the underworks. Or while he used the gate to... what?
There is a place, deep, deep underground, known
Source.
as the Source. A feat of engineering unparalleled. It's the secret to the Enclave's power. The abundance of magic. The heart of the tapestry. The thing powering the Veil. There was only a single loom gate still connected to the Source after Asylum cleared all connections. and I'm the one who repaired it.
The Grand Gate would take him right to the heart of things then.
Exactly.
Stanild thought he could... what? Sneak down there and fix things somehow? Tear down the veil?
His hope was to go down and secure a working space, sealed off from the distracted Surgeborn. He wanted to eventually fix things with the help of the spindle. All glory to his family.
That arrogant idiot.
Ja,
Read in his
wat een
personal
noob.
archives there was a system designed to shut down the source. In the hopes of discovering how it worked, he'd been feeding information to the spindle about it in drips.
Meaning she might have been working on a fix for the source without knowing it.
Then we have to pursue her research, clearly.
Good. But we still have the problem Stanild never saw coming. A great Surgeborn.
Which almost certainly will be unkillable if it operates like every other Surgeborn. It's hard to imagine any place more full of tangles than the literal source of the magic that's overflowing.
On that, I have an idea. If I'm right, we might be able to turn the tables and remove its advantage. I'll need Bryn's help if that's all right with everyone.
Of course.
Uiteraard.
If it gives us a chance, we have to take it.
I agree.
Has anyone just thought to ask the Talon?
What would we ask it? Favorite color? Favorite way to disembowel Ashar?
No, she's right. It has clearly demonstrated an interest in Bryn. Maybe she could pry some information out of it.
I'm not sure I'll get much. But I'm also sure I'm not going to think it's my friend. So, worth exploring?
Ja.
Then we have a path forward. Sev will pursue his thoughts on dealing with that beast.
My people have started calling it the Herald.
Of destruction? Doom?
Why not both? As I said, people are on edge.
Fine. Sev pursues weakening this herald. We work with the Axle to look into the Spindle's latest research. And if she feels like it, Bryn has a chat with our imprisoned Surgeborn.
As good a path
Goeie
forward as
plannen.
we are going to find. Let's call it here and get to work.
Consult with Dom about his search of the wreckage at the Grand Gate.
Bryn, I examined the wreckage at the Grand Gate after everything that transpired there.
Found something useful?
A kinetic strand, in fact. The Ark must have torn it from the Herald's pattern in the chaos of the battle.
Think we could weave it into my mantle?
I don't see why not. Its pattern appears to be quite similar to those found on wild creatures and Archons.
All right. We need every advantage.
Ja.
Then let's get to work. And we're finished. This will be quite the powerful
Kinetic
addition to your mantle.
stream.
How so?
This strand can twist kinetic magic into a tunnel. In battle, you could push debris or enemies through it and send them flying through the air quite forcefully.
Could I jump through it?
I suppose you could?
Hey, there's a lot of tall buildings, flying creatures. This is going to be great.
You're right.
Nou, goeie upgrade. Dankjewel hoor.
Try to be careful. Isla sacrificed everything for us.
Still can't believe she's gone.
Consult with Sev. Consult with the Axle.
Death could have been
Nou,
prevented.
Sev is hier.
I appreciated your candor in the meeting, Sev.
It was terrifying. Wasn't sure I'd be allowed to stay. You didn't get to voice an opinion with the others. Are we...
All circumstances aside, you saved the day. Sola and I said we had your back, and it paid off. Quick thinking having the scry open.
I knew something was wrong the moment that thing started talking to me when Stanild wasn't around. It was very focused on you.
Ja.
Me?
So much so that it said the only way the plan would succeed was if you talked to it. It reeked of trap. I didn't survive a decade around Tarzan Norians without picking up when someone's holding a knife behind their smile.
But you still took me down there.
Sorry. An educated risk. I felt there was nothing it could do and wanted the whole band to hear it talk. I don't think it understood we have the scry.
And Stanild wouldn't use one, of course.
The Talon was his deepest secret. Whom would he tell?
Can you tell me more about Stanild's plans for once he went through the Grand Gate?
He was counting on Isla. She was exceptional at protective fields. But even then, no. I don't think he had a real plan. The Talon had convinced him he'd be able to survive, and fool that he was, he trusted it. We can't afford that mistake.
Een fool
But
was hij, een fool.
I have a theory. You know how the weather sometimes skews wildly hot and cold?
Right. The aeroliths.
What else do we see on similar cycles?
Miasma.
Exactly. So, it follows.
You think the aeroliths are able to affect raw magic somehow?
I do. And in Stanild's private records and designs. I found notes, specifically on aeroliths with Norian commentary.
Hij weet
You
dingen.
think the Norians were involved in their creation?
It would certainly explain why Tarza had such access to aeroliths before the Surge. If I'm right, this might be the key to making the source survivable.
Fewer tangles means less dead me. Absolutely. Where do we start?
You'll need to head to the watersmith area of the Institute. And I'll guide you from there.
Dan krijgen we hier toch weer een advies mee. Hunt for the Norian documents in the Ramanath Kanaal. In the Institute. Dus daar moeten we nog heen. En we moeten nog consult with the Axel. Laten we dat nog even doen. Wat moeten we nu met Oria hier nog doen? Blaze of Glory.
Hey, mind if we talk somewhere private?
Lead the way.
I won't be returning to expeditions. I've known for a while now, but I couldn't bring myself to admit it. My days as Point are over.
I thought you were recovering from your injury.
Not as well as I should be. That I got injured at all was a sign that I'm not as fast as I used to be. I should count myself lucky. Not many Points get a career this long, but I'm not ready for this to end. Especially here, of all places. What kind of legacy is it to reach the Enclave only to sit by the fire?
But you've had an incredible career. And it isn't ending just because you can't go on expeditions.
I know, but it's not the same. And some part of me was hoping to end on a big score. I thought if I found out who my father was, if he turned out to be some great weaver like my mother, it's silly.
Tell me.
I thought I could solidify my legacy in history. Make sense of what my own contributions have been, if anything at all.
You're an incredible weaver in your own right. You don't need impressive parents to prove that. And if you had to pick your last act as Point, isn't finding your way into the Enclave the biggest score of all? You're everything I want to be.
That's very kind. Maybe in time I'll make peace with what my career has been. But for now, it's too raw.
Too
Is
raw.
there anything I can do?
Unless you can give me a few years back. This is grief I'll need to sit with for a while.
I understand.
En dan hebben we dus wel ook weer met Oria hierbij gepraat.
See herself the way I see her. Lane knows a thing or two about recording legacies.
Lane. Zo blijven we aan het praten met iedereen, hè. Lane. Blaze of Glory. Oh, Codex Compiling.
Lane, I was wondering if you could help me with something.
What is it?
Well, It turns out Oria's search for her father wasn't just about finding her family.
Crusades into one's lineage rarely are. Let me guess. She didn't find the missing piece of herself that she hoped she would, and now she's having an existential crisis.
Yeah,
Ja, daar komt het wel op
that
neer.
kind of sums it up.
It happens. So, what has all this really been about?
She knows she needs to retire, and she's struggling with what her legacy has been.
Ah, isn't it strange how the most accomplished people never seem to recognize their own success?
Yeah, I was hoping you could help with that. After all, isn't chronicling a legacy your specialty?
We could certainly commemorate her career with a written account. A lovely idea. I would suggest we personalize it with anecdotes from each of our traveling companions, as they've been in Oria's band longer than you or I. Would you interview them for me? Legacies may be my specialty, but you might have the leg up when it comes to connecting with others.
Sure, I can do that. Any tips on what to ask them?
Ask whatever you like. Maybe you want a few humorous stories in the mix? Or some readers prefer heartfelt. Why don't I start by interviewing you?
Me?
Of course, we'll need your input. What has Oria meant to you?
Before Oria, I didn't really have much of a mentor when it came to weaving. Sure, I picked up things from my old band, but she takes passing on knowledge so seriously. And her love of our culture comes through in how she teaches.
Great. I'll transcribe that and start her biography. Take notes when you speak to the others and come back to me.
Dan moeten we weer met iedereen gaan praten. Dan moeten we weer met iedereen gaan praten. We zijn er maar druk mee.
You know, a lot of points struggle with transitioning into a watcher's role full-time. And there's never been a point more passionate than Oria.
I know. I hope this eases her pain.
I'm sure it will. Now, what can I do to help?
What do you think makes Oria such a strong leader?
She listens to her weaver's input when needed, yet remains decisive when a consensus can't be reached. The band I traveled with before fell apart due to disagreements over what our goals should have been. It was a difficult and tumultuous time in my career. I never wanted to live through that again.
I can relate. Traveling with Oria is a completely different experience to my last band too.
She has a clear vision for her band, and she chooses people that share her goals. Even when conflict arises, it doesn't last long, and Oria can diffuse it quickly. That's because we can all trust that one another's intentions are good. Leading a weaver band is half the battle. And picking the weavers? That's the tough part.
Thanks for sharing, Dam.
Zo leren we weer steeds meer over Oria. Hij hoort er niet bij. Hij is een outsider.
I haven't known Oria for as long as the others, but she's done a lot for me. I'd like to help with your project if I can.
Of course, Sev.
What do you want to know?
You said Oria has done a lot for you. Tell me more about that.
After everything that's happened, everything I've done, she's just accepted me as part of the band. Until now, my position in life has always felt precarious. To just be accepted, no questions asked by someone like her. It means everything. She's given me a home. All of you have.
You'll always have one with us.
For the first time in my life, I actually believe that.
Thanks, Sev.
Glad to be of service.
Sola nog. En dan Casmin.
Bren, I love what you're doing for Oria. How can I help?
You've been in the Weaver Band the longest. How do you think Oria has changed throughout her career?
To be a point for as long as Oria has is extremely rare. The knowledge she's acquired at a time when weavers have lost so much is invaluable. She's always been passionate about recovering what was lost since the Surge. Though, I think feeling alone in that ambition has taken a toll on her over the years.
In what way?
Not all weavers are in this for our collective culture the way Arya is. Many of them only seek personal glory. When Casman didn't work out as her replacement point, she became worried she might never find someone that shared her vision for this band. It meant a lot when she finally found you.
Wow. Thank you, Zola.
Happy to help.
Alleen nog Casmin. Dan hebben we wel een aardig verhaal over Oria te vertellen.
Your idea to commemorate Oria's career with Lane is lovely. How can I help?
If you were to summarize Oria's influence on your life, what would that be?
Oria saved me from serious burnout with the Udean relief efforts. Not to mention, saving me from myself a second time here in the Enclave. I don't know if I'd still be here without her. Or any of you, for that matter. Anyway, the longer I worked the relief ships, the worse the fatigue hit me. And I think that had become my entire identity. Barely a few minutes into meeting me, Oria asked if I ever thought of becoming a weaver. I thought she was mad. But I guess she had observed me giving orders and organizing shipments on the docks all morning. By the end of our conversation, I had a new purpose and a home in her band.
That's perfect. Thank you for sharing.
My pleasure.
Dan brengen we dat allemaal weer terug naar Lane. Dan kan die alles op een rijtje zetten. The Chronicles of Oria Silverbeak.
My hand is cramped. But the account of Oria's career is finished.
Great. I'll gather everyone if you're ready to present it.
I'll need to ice my quill hand. But, of course.
Let's hope she likes this.
She will.
Zullen we dat eens even bespreken met Oria?
What's going on?
We wanted to present the latest addition to Lane's archive to you, together. We all contributed, though credit goes to Lane for compiling and writing it.
I've titled it A True and Personal Account of Oria Silverbeak Harpinet.
What is going on?
We wanted to do something special to commemorate your time as Point.
You didn't have to do all this.
We did. You've done more for each of us time and time again.
No one is more deserving of a place in Weaver history than you, Oria.
So we took it upon ourselves to write you one.
As a thank you for everything.
I don't know what to say.
Lane, why don't you read just the opening?
Oria Silverbeak, as she came to be known, was born to Sharian Harpinet and Eugenius Osphine inside the Enclave just before the Surge.
Osphine.
Though she never knew her father, her mother hoped Oria would follow in her footsteps as a skilled enchantress.
Alles wat we geleerd hebben door de missies heen
Oria decided to become a point, blazing her own trail. Something she would continue to do throughout her career, bigger and bolder each time. We'll let you read the rest on your own.
We hope this account will help you see yourself and your accomplishments the way we see you.
I'm at a loss. All I can say right now is thank you.
Blaze of Glory quest complete. Ja, nou ja, dan hebben we hier voor nu wel weer voldoende gedaan in de Aftermath. Denk ik. En dan moeten wij naar In Memories, de volgende quest. Consult with the Axel. Ik zou zeggen graag tot dan. Joe.